Yo, what is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about UFC Fight Night 182, Felder vs Dos Anjos. Now, for the first fight of the night, we have Brendan Allen taking on Sean Strickland, and this is a middleweight bout. Now, the betting odds for this fight card are really close. I mean, Brendan Allen is sitting as a very small favorite at minus 107, where Sean Strickland is sitting at plus 100. Now, Brendan Allen, his betting odds started at minus 166. They were at one point plus 119, which would have been an absolute perfect place to put him. Sean Strickland is at plus 100 right now for even money. Now, he was at plus 100 this exact whole entire time. I think this fight's one of those where you kind of have to stay away from it. Either fighter could win this one. I'm definitely leaning Brendan Allen to win the fight by decision or submission, but I would kind of stay away from that fight. Now, the next fight we have is Tony Gravely versus Geraldo de Freitas. Tony Gravely is a pretty significant favorite at minus 145. Started at minus 160, went to minus 190, and then rallied all the way up to minus 145. That's a perfect place to put him if you want to do a nice straight bet on Tony Gravely. Geraldo de Freitas plus 140. Went down to plus 135, which honestly is worse, but now he's at plus 140. I say stay away from this one unless you're going to make a straight bet on Tony Gravely, because minus 145 for Tony Gravely is the best that it's been so far. Now, for the next fight we have between Alex Morano and Rhys McKee. Rhys McKee obviously coming off of that loss to Khamzat Chimaev. He started off the betting odds at plus 189, is now at plus 169. I say just stay away from betting on Rhys McKee for that one. Alex Morano sitting at minus 185. Has basically stayed there the whole entire time. Now, I think this is another one where you kind of have to stay away from it, because Rhys McKee definitely has really good striking. He didn't really get to perform his striking as well as he wanted to when he ended up fighting Khamzat Chimaev. So in this fight, he could definitely win the fight by decision, because he does have very good stand-up skills. And I do think Alex Morano will win the fight, but I say stay away from this fight for betting on this for a straight bet or a parlay. So for the first three fights, honestly, just stay away from all three of them unless you're going to put a straight bet on Tony Gravely. Alright, so the next fight we have is between Don'Tale Mayes and Roque Martinez. Now, they're both coming off of losses inside the UFC. Don'Tale Mayes is actually coming in as a pretty good favorite at minus 220. Once a minus 225, but is now at minus 220. The best place you can probably bet for Don'Tale Mayes. Roque Martinez plus 196. Started at plus 159. This is the best place you could put him at. But to be honest, I think Don'Tale Mayes is a good parlay piece. To be honest, I don't really think Roque Martinez has that big of a chance of pulling out the victory in this one. I think Don'Tale Mayes will dominate and get a knockout in the first or second round. So yeah, Don'Tale Mayes just seems like a good parlay piece to add with a couple of other good picks on this fight card. Alright, so the next fight we have is between Antonio Arroyo and Eric Anders. It's actually a pretty close fight. Eric Anders is sitting at minus 137. Antonio Arroyo is sitting at plus 131. I mean, it seems like an okay place to put a nice bet on Eric Anders as a slight favorite for a straight bet, but if you're not going to do a straight bet on Eric Anders, I say stay away from that fight as well. Alright, so the fight after that is between Ashley Yoder and Miranda Granger. Now, Miranda Granger, she actually started off the betting odds at like minus 110 or something like that. Ashley Yoder was at minus 110 as well. Is now at plus 128. Miranda Granger is now at like minus 135-ish. Honestly, I think Miranda Granger might be a good straight bet, but I wouldn't add her in a parlay because it seems a little bit too risky. I mean, Ashley Yoder, she has a not very good record, but she can definitely go out there and get the win. So I'd stay away from that one unless you're going to do a straight bet. Definitely do not put either of those fighters in a parlay. It's just way too risky. Alright, so the next fight we have is between Julian Marquez and Saparbek Safarov. And this is another one where I'd like to add a parlay on. Julian Marquez minus 274. Saparbek Safarov plus 246. I definitely stay away from betting on the very old Saparbek Safarov. I definitely put Julian Marquez in a parlay with Don'Tale Mayes. I think he has a very good chance of winning his fight. So yeah, just put Don'Tale Mayes and Julian Marquez in a nice parlay. Alright, so the next fight we have is between Kay Hansen and Corey McKenna. Two very young fighters coming up inside the UFC right now. Kay Hansen, I really think her submissions are going to be way too much in this fight. I don't really think she'll get a submission in this fight, but I'm very confident in Kay Hansen at minus 205. I think she's going to definitely come out there and win the fight. So I think that wouldn't be too risky of a parlay piece to add. With Kay Hansen, Jillian Marquez, and Don'Tale Mayes. I think those three would make a nice parlay. But also in the next fight after that, between Kanako Murata and Randa Marcos, I actually think there's another good place for a parlay. As Kanako Murata is currently at like minus 170, I'm pretty sure. That's a good place to add her into the parlay. I say stay away from betting on Randa Marcos, but so far this is honestly the parlay that I'm going to use. I have Kanako Murata at minus 170. I have Kay Hansen at minus 205. I have Julian Marquez at minus 274. And then I have Don'Tale Mayes at minus 220. That's my 4-person parlay. I think it has a pretty good chance of not. I honestly think all of these fighters will win their fight. I give it like a 10% chance that one of them loses. And the payout for this one is like 3-1. It's absolutely insane. So that's just the parlay that I'm going to be using. But the fight after the Kanako Murata and Randa Marcos fight is Jose Quinones and Luis Smolka. This is another very close fight. Luis Smolka definitely a little bit better on the ground. Jose Quinones, I mean, he's pretty even on the feet with Luis Smolka, but I think Luis Smolka's ground game is going to be way too much. Definitely do not put these two guys in a parlay. They're too risky. One of the guys, either fighter can definitely take the win in this one. But I do think Luis Smolka will win at minus 130. It'd be a nice straight bet to put for Luis Smolka. All right, so the next fight, the co-main event of the evening, between Abdul Razak Al-Hassan and Chaos Williams. No, I honestly think Chaos Williams is the underdog of the night. I definitely still think Abdul Razak Al-Hassan will end up winning this fight. But if there's any underdog on this fight card that is going to win their fight, it is Chaos Williams. He's currently sitting at plus 196. Maybe just put $5 on this guy. I think Chaos Williams definitely has the best chance out of all these underdogs to win. If you're going to bet on Abdul Razak Al-Hassan, I mean, minus 220, I kind of would stay away from that. So, honestly, unless you're going to put a little bit of money on Chaos Williams, just stay away from this fight. And that leads us to the main event of the evening, Paul Felder versus Rafael Dos Anjos. Now, Paul Felder coming in on 5 days' notice to fight Rafael Dos Anjos, who was supposed to be fighting Islam Makhachev. But as you guys know, Islam Makhachev ended up getting a staph infection somehow and had to pull out of their fight 5 days before the fight actually took place. And Paul Felder's obviously going to be taking his place. Now, Rafael Dos Anjos, his last couple of fights have definitely been against a lot of wrestlers, and that's kind of why I think he's been losing all of those fights. And finally, he's going to be fighting someone with more of a striking background like Paul Felder, who likes to keep his fights on the feet. Honestly, I have a feeling Rafael Dos Anjos is definitely going to win this fight. But if there's any striker out there coming in on short notice to beat Rafael Dos Anjos, it is Paul Felder. I mean, he's a triathlete. He's always in shape to go in any fight. He could fight next week. He could fight this week. Obviously, he is going to be fighting this week. But Paul Felder is definitely a good underdog on this fight card. I think him and Chaos Williams are the two underdogs that I think should be a little bit higher, like should be at like plus 140, plus 130, instead of where they are right now, where Paul Felder's at plus 169 and Chaos Williams at plus 196. But I definitely think Rafael Dos Anjos will take that one. So unless you're going to put $5, just like on that Chaos Williams one, on Paul Felder, I say stay away from that main event. But yeah, that's my prediction for this fight card. Literally the only thing I'm going to be doing is putting a parlay together between Kanako Murata, Kay Hansen, Julian Marquez, and Don'Tale Mayes. I'm very confident all 4 of those fighters will win their fight. And that's it for this video. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the absolute best content out there. I post videos every single day. Predictions, betting odds, top 10 videos, whatever you guys want. Put it in the comment section below, and I will make sure to reply to you as soon as possible. This has been a very fun video, but I'm out of here.